What's up, everyone? How are you guys doing? Hope you guys all having a great day. Today, we'll be talking about the newest game mode that has come to Genshin Impact about 2 days ago, which is Imaginarium Theater. We're going to be talking about some of the mechanics that is in the game and also my general and initial thoughts about the game mode. So before we begin, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And do note that I stream live on Twitch. Link is down in the description below. Let's begin. All right, so Imaginary Theater, I do not know whether there is a level, like there's a level that you need to be at to start. I think I assume that it's quite similar to Spiral Abyss. So what's going to happen is that there's going to be a quest. I forgot the quest is called. I think it's called some unbegun quest that you can access, and that will just bring you to the Knights of Favonius library, and then you will enter, and then there'll be a short scene, about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you'll be able to enter into this room, and you'll be able to meet the guy that's in charge, the concierge by the name of Wolfie. Pretty cute. Right? That's pretty cute. So, basically what's in the game mode is that Imaginarium Theater is, well, supposed to be the new endgame mode that has come in this patch. And it is slightly different from Spiral Abyss. So while Spiral Abyss is basically like a gauntlet of challenges that you go through, where you clear wave after wave and try to get it within the time that is allocated, which is about 7 minutes, like 2 to 3 minutes. Sorry. So this is slightly different. So it's a little bit shorter. Ooh, what's he doing? Oh, nice. All right. So basically, Imaginarium Theater has 3 difficulties. Maybe let me move my camera around so you can see it. Let me give me a sec. All right, let me move this here. All right, so Imaginarium Theater has 3 modes, which is easy, normal, and hard. So basically, what's happening is that easy is basically, well, the easiest mode where you need 10 characters and there are 3 combat stages. And the third one, which is the last one, which is it will end up with a boss battle, which is the Dendro Chicken. Normal mode, you need 14, and there's 6 with 3 and 6 being the boss levels. And then for the hard difficulty, the highest one, you will have 3 bosses, and there will be 8, and you need 18. Hard mode is also where you also need level 70 characters. And then we'll talk more about that later. So let's talk about the mechanic of Imaginarium Theater. Basically, Imaginarium Theater, you can't use every character. All right. So oops, sorry, my bad. So if you look at the season rules at the top right hand corner, you will see that for this season, all right, for this month, the requirements is basically pyro, electro, and animal characters. Most of the characters you can use are only from these 3 elements. The reason why I say most, we'll talk about later on. But basically, yeah, these are the 3 elements that you play around with. And within these 3 elements, 2 characters each will have buffs, and also these are the opening characters. So for this season, we have Arlecchino, Toma, Clorand, Cookie Shinobu, Wanderer, and Faruzan. So basically what this means is basically that, as I'll show you later, they basically just have a 20% increase in stats. So what's going to happen is that, so obviously there's going to be restrictions based on the elements of the characters. And then so we go to the party setup. Let me move my camera again. All right, when you go to the party setup, there will be, you will see the characters here. So obviously, if you own the characters, you can choose to use them. But if you don't own the characters or they're not at the level, so for example, since this is easy mode, I needed to be at level 60. So because I don't have Toma and Farazan at level 60, and I also don't have Wanderer unlocked, I'm able to use the trial characters available. Yeah, so it really depends on what you have. Usually, if you have unlocked the characters, like for me, I have Clorand and Cookie and Arlecchino unlocked, so it means that I should probably use them because I have them built. You can obviously see in the character screen, the trial characters aren't as good. So, it's better if you have like better artifacts or better stats or better weapons, that you can use them as well. Something that I've yeah, and this is the fantastical and so these are the fantastical blessings. So the opening characters will have increase of 20% for their main stats, the attack, HP, and defense. And the interesting thing about this is that this also affects your overworld. So outside of Imaginarium Theater, you will also have these buffs. So let's just select these. So I'm on the easy mode just for try. I already played through the mode, and so yeah, let's just go in. So as you've seen earlier, right? You need 10 characters, 10, 14, or 18 depending on the difficulty, and so this is where the alternate cast comes in. All right. Obviously, most of the characters you can choose can belong to the 3 elements. In this case, pyro, electro, and animal, as you can see over here. And of course they meet the level requirements, but as you can see, there are also special guests that you can invite as well. So in this case, for this seat, they do not belong to the elements. So in this case, you will see you have Alhaitham, you have Baiju, you have Sagewin, and you have Risley. Unfortunately, if you do not have these characters, the only way you can use them is to use this supporting cast thing. All right. So you have a supporting cast. Basically, what's going to happen is that you can use one of your friends. So if you have, you can any of your friends who have set up their supporting cast, which I forgot to mention earlier. All right, so there's a supporting cast role that you can set over here. All right, and then you are able to select 15 characters. All right, sorry, 7 characters. My bad, not 15. But basically, you can support 15 people with your roster. And of course, you may want to choose elements that coincide. But let's say if I have an Alhaitham and let's say my friend doesn't have it, I can also select Alhaitham as well. So this is where the support system comes in for your characters and for your run. Unfortunately, you're only able to choose one out of the the characters that they've selected, and for each run you can only select one. You can only have them once. So for example, this guy, my friend, I borrowed his Shao for one of my runs, for the hard difficulty, and now I cannot use any of his support characters until the season ends. So basically, so let's say for example, if I want to choose Leto's Rider Shogun, right? So Leto's Rider Shogun, I can as well, and that will make up some of the supporting cast. Or if you have a deep enough roster, I think then you don't need to. So let's say just for this run, let's put in Alhaitham. Let me move my camera. All right, let's put in Alhaitham. Let's put in Bennett, Kazuha, and Fischl. All right, and of course, when you go to the higher difficulties, you need 8, and then you need 8 for. Sorry, I can't math all of a sudden. You need 8, and then you need 12 for the hard difficulty. So this is easy. Then you just need 10 or 4 supporting casts. All right. So once you are done, you go and say select, and then you show the details that you need to. Yeah, basically, once you start, all the gear and everything will be locked in. All right. So you can't share between characters once you have locked it in. All right. So now you started the stage of Imaginarium Theater. So basically, what's going to happen is that within the 3 acts, right? Within the 3 acts, you are able to do certain events. There is a companion event. Basically, is where you invite additional members. So, for example, basically at the start of every act, you only have access to the 6 opening characters. And then throughout playing the mode, whether by inviting characters or by clearing an act, you will be able to unlock the rest of your cast members. All right, so the other one will be Wondrous Boons. Wondrous Boons grants your party combat buffs. Basically, think of it as if you played Honkai Star Rail before, these are your path blessings that you'll get while playing the game mode. Okay, and so lastly, mystery caches, they will grant benefits or also negative. So like I said, based on Honkai Star Rail, simulated universe, this will be very similar to the Curios, except it's not really an item, it's just like a blessing, basically. All right, and then you basically can do as much as you can until you choose the battle, and then once the battle ends, you'll be able to then you'll move on to the next act. So basically, how do you unlock? Some of them are free, like in this case, you have mystery cache. But other events will require this currency. This currency is called the Fantasia Flowers. The Fantasia Flowers basically allow you to do certain events. The only way to gain them is either through some certain events, like maybe through a boon or mystery cache, or by doing a battle and ending the act. So let's say, for example, I go to a random. I want to choose one random character. So this is a companion event, right? It could be random. It could be based on elements. So like you can only they'll ask you to choose like a pyro character, for example. So in this case, I can choose between Bennett and Fischl. You know what? For this, I'll choose Bennett. All right, and then probably I should have selected the mystery cache first. All right, if you've already selected mystery cache. But yeah, let me just refresh this. So let's just choose a Wondrous Boon. So Wondrous Boon, basically you can choose one of the three. Yeah, that's pretty simple. And hopefully I can get a cache event. Never mind. So yeah, so basically for battles, there are two kinds. You have a normal and an assault. Basically, it allows you to basically assault is more bigger enemies and there's more waves. So when you want to enter into a battle, all right, you will notice that there are certain conditions that you can meet while winning that will gain you certain stuff. So for example, by defeating all enemies, you get 80 flowers, and then there's a bonus challenge. So in this case, you will trigger overloads. You will trigger overload 5 times. You'll be able to get the bonus 20. And then the star challenge. So the star challenge is very similar to the stars that you get in Abyss. So basically, you defeat opponents, you get a star. If you do not defeat opponent, you don't get a star. And that ties into your rewards, which I will show. Let's see if I can show it right now. So basically, when you play through the so each act that you do, you can get a star, and then the star corresponds to the rewards. So unfortunately, for you to get the max rewards, you need to play the hard mode. You play the normal mode, you'll get up to the 6th tier of rewards, and you play the easy mode, you'll get up to 3. And of course, it stacks. So if you don't need to do easy, then normal, then hard, you just need to do the hard mode to get all rewards if you want to finish everything. And also at the same time, for first time completion, you also get the debut gift performance, which is a one-time thing. Okay, so let's just do like a normal battle. All right, so so basically that's basically the star challenge, right? You defeat the opponents, you get a star, and then you can claim like the first tier of rewards. Now, the one thing before we start, you will notice that underneath all the characters, there is like an energy, it's an energy symbol. What this is called Vigor. Basically, what happens is that every time you use them in a battle act, so like this battle normal, for example, you will lose 1 Vigor. What this basically means is that each character can only be used in 2 acts unless you collect like a Wondrous Boon or a mystery cache that allows you to call them back. But you know, if you don't, so that for example, for my hard run, I managed to call back like Raiden Shogun and Faruzan back for me to use them in later stages, right? And give them back 2 Vigor. But other than that, each character by default will have 2 Vigor, and by default they'll only be able to use on 2 battles. So yeah, so basically let's start. All right, and then there's this so once you go to the key in the middle, you're able to select your principal cast. Since this is an overload challenge, you know what, maybe let's use this team, right? Okay, one electro, I might as well use it. All right, and so let's go. And then there's a little nice cutscene where the stage unfolds, and then you will get the main stage where you do your battle. Now, obviously, this is on easy. You know, I've been playing this game for a while. I have my characters built. So it's gonna be pretty fast. All right, so let's just start this, and then we can use Cookie. We can trigger a little bit of overload to trigger everything. All right, and so yeah, basically. Obviously, I'm very over level for this, so this is done very, very fast. But basically, once the performance is done, you will notice that the Vigor has now dropped to 1, and you claim everything, including the star. All right, and so once an act ends, one of the alternate members will join your cast. In this case, I have Al Haytham. All right, and so the one thing is that between every act, you are actually able to talk to any of the characters that you have used earlier. And yeah, you're able to talk to them. They'll just talk to you a little bit. I think it's pretty fun to see some of the characters interact after outside of where they live and everything. And so yeah, let's look at the Wondrous Boon to just talk about what this is about. So you can see there are certain effects. So for example, in this case, after defeating an enemy, you regain HP. It can be triggered once every 20 seconds. This one increases your crit for normal attacks after using an elemental skill. You're going to choose this one. So obviously you can play around. There's also a mystery cache that allows you to choose 4 and to auto refresh as well. And of course, if any of you in the comment have noticed any of these things that I've not found, because obviously this is just 3 stages, I can't find everything. But yeah, I think do point it out in the comment below. So yeah, I've done all these. So let's go and do some assault battle. And now it's just I need trigger melt. Ooh, trigger melt is a bit difficult. Maybe that's not. I mean, it's not that difficult, right? It's just that because my characters are a little bit overpowered, that I will kill everyone before that. Let's do a swirl. So I'm going to say I've never used Wanderer before, never used Farazan before. So I'm going to use them, but don't judge me for not playing them, right? Because I really do not know how to use them. All right, you know what? Maybe let's use a little bit of Cookie here. I think that'll be fine. All right, and so let's just strike out with Toma. All right. Obviously, I want to trigger the swirls to beat the condition. Then now I'm just attacking. Hopefully I don't kill everyone before I trigger the swirls. So that's why I'm not going to use the ult, because I don't want to kill everybody. Alright, I met the condition. Now I ult. Just kill as many as I can. And as I mentioned many times, I do not, just because I make videos on this doesn't mean I own every character, and I don't know how to use Wanderer optimally. So just give me a little bit of slack. All right, so yeah, pretty fast. Obviously, I probably did something wrong there. Let's ult. I think I'm supposed to use the ult when the stamina is about to end, but that's besides the point. All right, let's just finish this also. That let's just finish this off. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. First time using him. Don't think I ever pull for him, but it's what it is. And now I official. All right, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, and of course, as I mentioned, you can talk to them as well. And now let's go to Act 3. All right, so Act 3, obviously you can also refresh. I really use them. But let's just invite a companion. My last companion that I have left is Kazuha, so let's just choose Kazuha. All right, so let's do the climactic showdown. So it says that I need to defeat it's exhausted, defeat a villain, blah blah blah. And of course, and then sometimes they'll show which characters have advantage and stuff like that. So in this case, electro characters have advantage because of the mechanics of the the chicken. Okay, the chicken. All right, for these, it's gonna be a little bit scuffed, but let's just use Fischl. Fortunately, I don't have Cookie anymore. You know what? It is what it is. I think before mentioning anything, I think this is where the problem of this game mode really comes in. It's because your team building feels very, very weird because of the way that you don't have much room to wiggle around if you don't have much characters, right? So obviously I'm killing this guy too fast. Can this guy get exhausted? Midnight Phantasmagoria. You know what? Doesn't really matter. It's the end of the fight. It's the last round. I don't need the extra, but at least I've gotten the star. All right. And so once you're done, they will show your performance and everything. Obviously, I crushed it because I'm overpowered. But yeah, it's like me doing level floor 9 of Abyss. But yeah, you get your stars. And let's say, for example, if you were doing this, that means that you will be able to get up to tier 3 of the rewards. All right. So that means you go to reward preview, you're able to get up to these 220. All right, so one more thing that I've never mentioned is that there is an option to rewind performance. Basically, this only happens in the normal and hard mode, because this can only happen after stage 3. So in this case, this is stage 5, right? This is Act 5. So once you finish stage 5, you're able to rewind a performance. Whoops, not this one. You're able to rewind a performance. You can either do this here or in battle. Basically, this basically brings you back, and then basically let's say for example, if you made a mistake and like, oh no, maybe I should have used this character and I don't have it right now, but I need it, so you can rewind back to another stage, change your lineup, and redo the previous stage. So for example, in this case, since I'm at Act 5, if I were to rewind, I'll rewind to Act 4. Because like, right, for example, I've already used up Arlecchino, I've already used up Bennett, I've already used up Cookie Shinobu. I don't have them available for my roster, as you can see right over here, right? But if I were to rewind, then I'll be able to go back. Let's say if you realize that, oh, I've maybe used too many supports and I don't have any more supports for my DPS right now. So this is something that you could do. So it's something that you can take note of. All right, and so I think that's about it about Imaginarium Theater. So obviously, whoopsie daisy. Obviously, I think that there is a lot of, okay, at least for now, because I guess this is the first season, there isn't a lot of like nuance to the game mode. What I mean by that is that there isn't a lot that, like, you know, like, it's whether if you have the characters, you can probably clear it, kind of thing. I think obviously because we are limited to the 3 elements that they have set, in this case pyro, electro, and animal, I think that players who, you know, who are a little bit whose roster is a little bit thinner, the newer players, the mid-game players, they would tend to maybe not enjoy this game mode. And I understand why, right? Because obviously you know, it's a little bit like this game mode encourages people who have wider rosters, who maybe played for a little bit longer, able to build more characters efficiently. And because you are not able to do so, like, if you know, because you know, you don't have, like I said, there's also a level requirement for the highest difficulty, for all the difficulties anyway. So you can't even bring like a level 50 character, for example. So obviously this will probably be a big strain for players who are in the earlier or mid game. And I think that for what it is, I don't think the game mode is that challenging. Like, it's really, really, like, I think the most important thing is about managing your resources, like your characters, because as I mentioned, you can only use characters twice, except on special events, like if you manage to get like a cash or a boon that gives your vigor back to your character. I think it's mostly a cash, right? That gives vigor back to your characters. And I think that can be a bit strained for a lot of players who maybe, you know, they're just throwing in characters to fill up their rosters, because the alternate cards that you get can be a bit random. And maybe if you don't have, like, let's say you really, really need Alhaitham, but then your Alhaitham isn't coming through, or you really need that Bennett for your Arlecchino and Bennett isn't coming through. So I think that can also be a bit rough for a lot of players. And I think that in general, I think the Vigor aspect, where restricting players to use as many, not use as many, but like restricting players to manage their characters, because, you know, they only have a certain amount of energy, which I think, like, for people who play Wuthering Waves will be very familiar, because that's how they do the Tower of Adversity. I think that, you know, like, is good in concept, but I think that having 3 elements as restrictions is a little bit tough. Because if you were to think about it, right? If you were to think about it, right? Some elements are a little bit more stacked, right? Some elements are, you know, have a bigger roster. Let's say if it was Geo, which is the smallest roster in the game, then a lot of people will feel very, very tight. You know, let's say if it was Pyro, Geo, and Animal, right? Or even Geo, Electro, and Animal, right? Which I think Animal is also a pretty small roster by itself, right? This is going to be a lot tighter on the restrictions that the characters can use. And the fact that you can only borrow 1 character from each player, it's also not really that ideal, especially for players who want to challenge the hard difficulty. That being said, if you look at the rewards, right? So if you were to do the easy mode and you were to 3-star it, that will be 220 Primo Gems. If you were to do up to 6, that will be an additional 220, which will be 440 in total. All right, that's not even 3 pulls. And then you do 7 and 8, that'll be 180, which is just one pull, right? So this is 180, so that will be shit. I can't really do math right now. 440. This is 440. This is 180. So it's 620. And so I think that, you know, it's up to you whether you want to decide to push, right? Like I say, it's only a few Primo Gems. And obviously each Primo Gem counts, you know, if you think about it. But ultimately, is your roster going, is it worth straining your roster to mass build characters in a panic just for one pull, right? It's one pull could give you a 5-star, one pull could also give you a 3-star. So I think that is something that that's something that I would like to share. If you were to ask about, okay, we'll talk about this later, but yeah, basically those are my thoughts. I think that you know, I think in general it was a fun concept that wasn't really executed that well. Maybe because it's the first season, they're trying to play it safe and they want to test the waters, and maybe they'll do more in the upcoming ones once they get feedback, right? Hopefully they're taking the feedback from the players. But other than that, obviously this is pretty good because it's the first time rewards, but it's a one-time thing. So this is the one that's going to be repeating 620 gems, Primo Gems, repeating. You know, is it worth the squeeze? Maybe, you know, if you're able to do 6, right? Just an additional pool to mass build characters, right? So obviously this favors more endgame players, as I mentioned. But ultimately, you know, it's up to you to decide whether you really want to grind for this game mode. I mean, all you know, as I said, it's a good concept that was not really executed that well. I think that Wolfie is pretty cute, but that's about it. Also, you may have noticed that there were those toy medals that you could have. Basically, this just gives you different emotes, different poses that you can have for certain characters. So, for example, Xiangling, she has this pose. You have this pose, which is basically just your camera. Different poses you can set. Rider one's pretty cool. That I gotta admit. But everything else is pretty, you know. So in the end, hopefully they'll add more stuff going forward. All right, but all in all, what do you guys think? What are your feedback about the game mode? Do you enjoy it? Do you think that it is something that has potential that could get better, or are you very disappointed by it? As I already shared my thoughts, please let me know how you feel in the comment section below. Do also like this video, subscribe to this channel, and also share this video with your friends. Do know that I stream live on Twitch, link is down in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, be good to yourselves and the people around you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.